on a consistent level. Okay, like I said, at Glenn's memorial site, damn. Like you said, Kim, I really want to. But you know what? Comrades and I, eventually we became what was called the Jonathan Jackson Educational Academy. We were ferocious about studying and practicing. All right? So, Stokely, again, he hooked us up with Snake. Again, this brother was like a leader, natural leader, sharp. His tongue spoken, knowing how to talk to people. You know what I mean? Knowing how to be among people. That was my impression. Tell you one story, and then Kim, we're gonna have Kemet, gonna speak. Tell your story. I don't like, well, I can say it now. It's kind of embarrassing. There was a UCLA community center called TOP near the Avalon Garden Projects, Manchester and San Pedro. I was in a karate class with a brother named Bob Owens, rest in power. He was a Shotokan karate sensei instructor. Well, Skip Johnson, UCLA used to let us come to the building. Matter of fact, he gave us a key to the building on Manchester and San Pedro, right? We used to go work out in the building. And one day we decided, we got our black gis on, and we were white belts then. Let's get outside, stand outside like we on guard. Ain't nobody in the building. Nobody in the building. We standing out there like this. It's about 6 of us, right? Well, guess who walks up out of nowhere? Coming down Manchester. Bunchy. How you doing, Bunchy? You know, people, like I say, they say like Bunchy was tough. He was. Man, Bunchy could have lit us a new one, tore us a new one, right? Bunchy looked at us as if to say, okay. But he talked to us.
Y'all doing this?
Yeah, no, he was like, okay. But he took us in the building and he spoke to us. I remember he was looking for a woman I had a crush on, Gwen Goodlaw. She was older than me. Probably didn't know I existed.
We don't play with the kids.
Yeah, you know. And he talked to us, man. You know, it's moments like that. I saw Bunchy at other times at South Park where he spoke with Eldridge Cleaver. Yeah. Right before Eldridge Cleaver went underground in November 1968. Again, first time we came to this memorial site with Black August Los Angeles in 2012, man. I cried, and I don't like crying. I know you men can cry now. I'm not from that generation. Just something just clicked in my head, especially when I saw the kids, right, and the youth.
Yeah.
At that time, 2012, around a site in 1969, we were standing, more people standing around like we are now, honoring our comrade Bunchy. Yeah. John Huggins. John Huggins, first time I met him was when the Panthers had an office in the Black Congress. That's where our karate class was. We wasn't affiliated with us organization. We had our own karate class on Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. John Huggins would be in the office most days, and he was like, it was sort of a, not quiet, but laid back way of leading, right? And he would educate us to the 10-point platform, the purpose of the party, and again, reading. We'll see Elaine Brown, Gwen Goodlaw, Fannie Houghton, a lot of other Panthers. And just a footnote, Fremont High School is like the epicenter of a lot of party members. Bunchy went there for a minute. Kamasi went there for a minute. Ron Wilkins went there for, I think, the whole duration. Bird went there. Tommy Lewis, who was one of the Black Panther Party members that was assassinated by LAPD August 1968 on Adams and Montclair, along with Steve Bartholomew and Robert Lawrence. Another Panther named Nathaniel Clark. Nathaniel went to Fremont. Melvin X, who was a revolutionary soldier, he's in that cemetery across the street, Lincoln. So a lot of folks came out of Fremont High because that was sort of like the center epicenter of the new community that moved past Jefferson High School. So we were in that group. And the Slausons, like Kim Morris said, who's the Carter Morris niece, said Bunchy was in the Slausons, like some of you already know. Slausons were like warriors protecting the black community. Now, if you know where Alameda is in Los Angeles, back in the day, if you, like I went to Georgia, well, before high school, that's another story. If you cross Alameda near Jordan High School, back in the day, you were in the white neighborhood.
Yep.
You were in the white community. They had an organization or group or gang called the Spook Hunters. Well, that's how the Slausons developed to defend the community against the Spook Hunters. We used to call Alameda the Berlin Wall. Berlin Wall was a wall that they built in Germany to divide East Germany and West Germany. So again, Slausons in the beginning were a street tribe to protect the community. And I didn't really know how strong the Slausons were because I lived south of Manchester.
Right.
I don't know what set we were in at that time, the avant-garde. When I went to Drew, I found out who the Slausons were. So, again, that's Al Prentice, Bunchy Carter, John Jerome Huggins. In addition, two other Black Panther Party members were assassinated in that whole so-called, we never were rivals with us organization. That's a myth. Black Panther Party was out organizing, boots on the ground, winning the hearts and the minds of the people.
Right.
That's why they got moved on and eliminated. Certain other organizations are still running around flopping, you see? So it wasn't a rivalry. John Savage, Sylvester Bell were also assassinated, 69, 68 respectively, along with Bunchy and John. So don't get that, what is it, Wikipedia idea that the Black Panther Party was in rivalry. It's a lie. We wasn't in rivalry with the US organization. We wasn't about sitting up doing whatever, you see, in one place all day, with boots on the ground. When I came into the party, we were cadre leaders, Gwen Jones, Jackie Jones, Beverly Freeman, that's Ronald's wife, Brenda Choice, Alan Ball, along with myself. We were selling papers. We would walk from Compton to downtown selling the Black Panther Community News Service. We would work in the Bunchy Carter Free Clinic, which was on 32nd and Central. We also had a breakfast program on 39th in Vermont. So again, the Black Panther Party was a boots on the ground, out in the community, organized. We wasn't laying up in that place drinking sodas. All right.
That's
Kim?
a fact. That's a fact. Just to reiterate that there was no rivalry between us organization and the Panthers because, let's be realistic. If you saw what us was doing as opposed to what the Panthers was doing, there was no comparison. So how do you be in competition with someone that is of a lesser status? They were moving. They were the movement. And us was coattailing. That's all I'm gonna say on that. This brother here, fine as wine, the ladies' man, could dance, did a little bit of acting, dressed very well, eloquent speaker, fist of fury because he could fight. He had to. He had 8 brothers and 2 sisters that he had to protect and a mother. The integrity of this young warrior, when I say young, this man started the whole premise in the Panthers at 24. How many of you at 24 was Black community minded? Even to this day, none. Like this brother was, committed to turn from his family if they did not support his drive and his love for what he was about to, give himself to. Told his mama, this is what I'm gonna do. She calls my daddy, come talk to this, you better, and tell him he can't. Daddy told him to come to the house. I'm gonna talk to you. That's how my father, I'm gonna talk to you. Acquiesced very quickly because I was the big brother. And brother, daddy talked to him and told him, you can't be no Panther. That's what he said. Because mama said she don't want you involved. She don't want you to be hurt. She don't want you in trouble. He said, this ain't about you. This ain't even about mama. I gotta do this. I'm doing this. I'm already involved. I'm leaving here to go up north to continue my involvement. And did that. And did just what he said he was going to do, to the point of clinics opening, free lunch program, or at that time, free breakfast. The free breakfast program was so powerful. See, because if you feed a person, I ain't even got to finish. Because that's what it'll do for you. It will give you that sense of familiar. I want to be a part of whatever you are because you care about my sustenance. Such a powerful movement that the government was like, whoa, we got to stop this. So powerful that they took some of the programs and integrated it and enlarged it into a government program. Free lunch program. It's Panther program. Don't you ever forget that. WIC, that's right. Women, Infant, and Children program. That's Panther program. Don't you ever forget that. They started so many of the programs that the government laid claim to now. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. This is a brother that was fully committed to the Panther Party. And I want to speak on that brother. Sharif Abdullah loved my uncle.
Right. Sharif Abdullah, a soldier.
Yeah.
Loved Bunchy. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you about that, bro. That's Robert Kendricks. Been knowing him since 1965. We raised around each other, around the corner. He told my brother, I like your sister. My brother said, you can't talk to her, though. You can like her, but you can't date her. This brother was committed to the party and the memory of Bunchy Carter, so much so that he went and asked my grandmother's permission. He didn't have to. His mom was already set. He was already making the steps. He was already garnering the power behind him to make the move into the backup. He didn't have to. But because of the love and the respect that he had for Bunchy, he went to my grandmother and asked her permission. I would like to start this, and I would want you to be a part of this in any small manner. This man loved the Panthers. He loved my uncle. He loved his community. And when I say this man came from a very abject environment, yeah, we was raised around the corner in what's supposed to be suburbia. Nice homes, 2 bathrooms, 3 bedrooms, dishwashers and things to that. It's 1965 now. But because of the situation within his own family, he was treated like an outsider, like a stepchild, like an orphan, sleeping on side of people's homes, or sneaking them in the house at night because his stepmother and him done got into it and she done kicked him out. Come on, don't come till 10 o'clock. We're gonna sneak you through the back. He came from that type of environment, and he could have been a weak drug addict and feeling sorry for himself, but he never did. Warrior, fighter, hey, people tell you right now, Robert Kendricks could do this all day and not get tired. They would line up. Oh yeah, I heard you got hands, or whatever the kids call it now. whatever the kids call it now. And he was sure, I can show you better than I can tell you, and whoop their ass. Excuse my French. This was a loving, giving, honorable man who loved community with the depths and breadth of his body and died as a soldier. More power and love to Sharif Abdullah.
All right.
Sharif Abdullah, soldier. Sharif Abdullah, soldier.
All right.
Bunchy Carter, soldier.
Black
Bunchy
Panther.
Carter, soldier.
Right on.
John Huggins is soldier.
A lot of people don't understand, like Chairman Fred Hampton Sr. said, our relationship to the mother country rather, as white people. Some people say, well, the reason why the Black Panther Party was destroyed because the white people infiltrated the party with white women. I'm yet to see my white woman. No, and as far as race, I got out of that I hate white folks stuff when I was 15 years, 16 years old. I was into internationalism. We mentioned Che. I was having a discussion with this brother about a year ago. He called Che a peckerwood. By the way, that's not a black word. That came from the Scotch Irish. They called themselves peckerwoods. You got it?
Got it.
Read it. Don't Google it. So, Che fought in the Congo in 1965.
Yeah, he did.
Put his life on the line. You dig? He didn't put his lips on the line, he put his life on the line. In the 1960s, 1970s, the Cuban people sent 500,000 Cubans to mother country, Africa, to assist the African people in education, medical issues, and militarily. Didn't ask for a dime. In the 1970s, the Angolans their revolution was attacked by the then white Europeans-dominated South African government. Augustinio Neto, president of Angola, got on the phone. You got to work with me on this if you understand revolution for real.
Yeah.
You got on the phone, Fidel, I need some help. What you need? Well, he said, well, we need some food. Oh, man, I'm sending you tanks, planes, RPGs, and 500,000 crack Cuban soldiers. Black, white, purple, whatever color you want to call them. You got it? And they kicked the South Africans out of Angola. It was a famous battle at Quito Carnaval. Kifangandu at that time. Cubans and the Angolans got on them. They was about to drive them into the sea. You got it? In the 1980s, as Papa Eldridge used to say, no, not Eldridge, Gil Scott Heron used to say, Ronald Ray gun, as in ray gun, space gun. But let's go back into Angola so we can steal their oil. You with me? Take their oil, their natural resource. We need that. We feed on that.
Oh, yeah.
Nito got on the phone and talked to the Cubans again, right? We need, Fidel said, look, I'm giving you tanks,
Carte blanche.
whatever you
What do you
need. What you need. Again, almost 1 million Cuban troops went to Angola. Don't read it, don't Google it, read it.
Go read it, because it's there to be read.
Yeah, I don't care about being read. My sister's read. So, they had the Cubans had the, Cubans and Angolans had the South African Army, the battle called Quito Carnaval, right? They were about to kick that, I don't curse, kick that tail, right? Reagan, I'm amplifying this. He gets on the phone and talk to the generals and all the people. We cannot allow the defeat, this is in paper, the defeat of a European army on African soil. They started negotiation. That's why Nelson Mandela got out in 1980, was it 88 or 89? 89. And they started negotiating with the Cubans and the Angolans. The South Africans left. With me? Yeah. So, brother, they called Che a cracker or peckerwood. Cubans lost 1,000 soldiers.
Yes, they do.
African soil. Who else? I hate to sound like I'm a preacher, I'm not. Who else can say that other than lip service? So I love the Cubans. I love people, freedom-loving people. I don't care what they look like. If they got principles, if they're about revolution, if they're about getting this thing going, you got to think like a general. You sit up, well, you can't, look, I had a brother about 5 years ago. Well, we don't need to be talking. We need to be going to kill people and this, that, and that. Brother, do you reload? Yeah, all you have to do is reload the gun. No, I'm talking about reloading, putting your own bullets together, and you don't have to spend the money on you talk to me. Well, that's because you come from another era. Yeah, I came from an era where we were trained in the Jonathan Jackson Educational Cadre by 2 ex-Marines who were in Vietnam. And when we were organizing in the Avalon Gardens, all that myth about this person started this and that, we told them ain't gonna be no banging like Bunchy Carter's. Ain't gonna be no banging over here. They didn't believe it. Brother stole one of our comrades' guns, broke in the comrade's mother's house, took a weapon. See, they didn't have nothing back in the early 70s. We did. The Panthers were gone by then. We told that brother, we caught him about a week later, pulled him over, people's arrest. Told him, return the weapon to my mama's house at 12 a.m. We're gonna pull a people's raid on your mama's house. He turned that, our emissary, God rest in spirit, with Pancho. Pancho was the in-between. He got that gun, put it on my mother's porch at 11:35 p.m. The next day, not a shot fired.
All right.
And the only people that the police and the sheriffs and the housing authority were concerned about, they weren't concerned about the street tribe. They were concerned about that Jonathan Jackson Educational Cadre. When my film was out of the festival circuit, a key moment in that film was, and I know I'm off point, but that's where jazz musicians work, right? They go off point on purpose. Key point in that film, one of the Teen Post directors, who was also good friends with Nola Mae Carter, he was good enough to let us know that the Los Angeles Police Department's Intelligence Division made it clear, we ain't concerned about no street tribes, y'all call them gang. We ain't concerned about no unpoliticized street tribes. We concerned about the JJEC, Jonathan Jackson Educational Contract. And they commenced to jump on us in a hurry, like that. So get it right.
Get it right. Power to the people.
So I want to call up, I said that, I went off point, I want to call up Beto. By the way, Bunchy created one of the first major alliances in the Brown community with the Brown Berets.
All power to the people.
All power to the people.
We sit today here honoring Comrade Bunchy Carter. One thing that always caught my attention for him was his saying, turn the lumpen mentality into a revolutionary mentality. You know, us growing up in these barrios, in these street tribes, hoods, gangs, whatever we may be, this is a brother we can look forward to. Someone who turned his 500 strong Slauson Street tribe into the most powerful Black Panther party in South Central. This is what we need to look towards. You know, we idolize Brother Malcolm X, who came from the same background, known as Detroit Red. You know, out there slanging, out there doing all this negative stuff. But like Sister Kim said, the love for the people, that's what drove them to change their mindset. That's what drove them to be revolutionaries. It wasn't hate for the enemy. It wasn't hate for one another. It was hate for the system that drove them to become what they were seen as troublemakers, as renegades, as someone with no future. They looked at the youth as someone who had a future. And they changed that. They changed it by revolutionary actions. You know, this is why we look at Brother Bunchy as a revolutionary gangster. You know, this is what he was. This is what we aim to be. A lot of us come from that street tribe mentality, but we cannot forget that there was many of us that put that platform together before we even thought about it, before we thought about even the street tribe and putting in work with our community. These brothers and sisters did it long before we did. And that's something that we cannot forget, is the lumpen mentality can always be a revolutionary mentality given the right readings, the right teachings, and the right knowledge to become something that we'll be taught that we're never gonna be. We're more than just folks from East LA, Compton, you know, Watts, all these different areas. No, we come from a bloodline of revolutionaries. Every one of us has seeds of resistance because they laid that down. And their generations before that laid that down. Yeah. We are the seeds of resistance. As there's a saying out in Chiapas, they tried to bury us, but we didn't know we were seeds. This is what we are seeds. And we grow from these seeds. And these brothers and sisters, we grow from them. And from the next generation, this is what we fight for. For our elders that were here before us, you are all the platform. We will become the pillars. The next generation will become the roof. The generation after that, will become the roof and then the walls. This is how we build change. Yep. This is how we come solidarity right here. We've got people from all different walks of life, but we're here to honor those who came before us. All power to the people.
All power to the people.
I want to ride on something Benzo said. Imagine this. If Malcolm would have died at 23, we would have only knew Detroit Red.
Yep.
Right.
So Sankofa dictated that's never too late.
Right.
So the whole principle was to create this, a grand alliance of all people,
right.
all oppressed people.
Right.
I want to say this about these brothers in this party that I love. It was a strange thread that went throughout. I talked to Charlotte O'Neal, Mama C, and she said, when I was in the party, I mean, you know, volunteering was our thing. We used to show out, see who could volunteer the most.
Right.
Roland Freeman told me that when he was in the party, they used to wipe the walls down, mop the floor. I just couldn't do enough for the people. So that kind of commitment, today ain't nothing changed but today. And don't think it's a whole bunch of people. My elder always say, Professor Grant says this all the time. He said, when we started OAU, him and Malcolm and Dr. Ben and Dr. Ben's wife, he said, we could all fit in a Volkswagen. It's not about a lot of people. He said a lot of people, just a mob. Can't nothing get done. It's committed people, and the community will come. You love them, they will love you back. But it's a certain type of commitment that you have to have. My aunt, she was in the Montgomery bus boycott. So when my uncle died, she moved to Louisiana with us. She had this little box, and it had a bow on it. And she carried it like a baby. And she loved this box. After she passed away, I took the box down. I thought gold bricks was in it. I took the box down and I opened it, and size 5 little brown shoes that she wore for 267 days while she walked from here to Hollywood and back. The bus is passing by her. Oh, we got air conditioning here. The ride's free today. Right. But she walked. Right. She walked. Yep. She walked. Yeah. So this is the level of commitment that's necessary. And understand this, like the brothers say, I just couldn't do enough. There's no small deed in revolution. There's no small deed in revolution. Power to the people. All power to the people.
All power to the people.
And this Grand Alliance can grow until we change the world, because that's the goal.
I want to say something too, Kimmy. We were proud of him. Despite the beginning resistance and the fear that we had about his alliance with the Panthers, we were damn proud of this man. So much so that he built a fire within his own mother. She became a very strong community activist, made sure that Martin Luther King got built and sat on the board. Made sure that Charles Drew University, which is the only black historical college on the West Coast, was built. She sat on the board. Her, Lillian Mobley, Mrs. Williams, Mrs. Green, all these mothers of these sons, they carried the ball too.
So important. Yes. You said it.
Okay, any of the young folk want to speak?
We want to hear from Dane. I know you don't want to talk, but we want to hear you talk anyway. Tiffany can take that camera. We want to hear from you, Dane.
Thanks. I'm usually behind the camera.
Not today. Not today.
Thanks everyone for coming through to Bunchy and John and Arthur Glenn and all other folks from the party. Glad everyone's here to commemorate the sacrifices they made for revolution. Amaya and the party inspired me in so many different ways from my upbringing. Just understand, they gave me the education of understanding why and how we came here. And pretty much what we have to do. They're always a reminder of how and why we can't compromise with the U.S. empire. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say for the moment right there. Thanks for your time there.
That's enough. So we don't want to leave here without saying this. You know, there was 200 Panthers that went to prison, and some of them are still there.
Right.
So for all those that tied to the dungeon, to this day, we will remember them too. We will never forget them.
Right.
If you could just pick up a pen and a piece of paper and write these brothers that just say, your fight didn't go for nothing, it would be well appreciated. Because at the end of the day, they put it out on the line for us.
That's right.
That's right,
For
'cause
us.
Bunchy still has a baby
For us.
brother
That's right.
That's right.
that is sitting in the penal system right now, today.
Right now.
Went in at 17. He's 63.
Right.
They took him off the street. They wasn't sure. Is this another one that was going to come out that house with that same brilliance and that same integrity and that same strength? Not knowing for sure, they just removed it.
Right on. Okay.
I want to say this too.
Okay.
We all got to study and train.
That's right.
That got to be first and foremost for everybody here right now. Because that's what all these elders did. That's what all these ancestors did, was they studied and they trained. And they did it in a collective way. Everybody got to be able to sit in the same circle, be reading the same book. Literally everybody be on the same page. And that's where everybody started from. Now you really get to see who's really serious about really putting in this work once people really start training. You can make it through them 6 weeks, you can make it through these 8 weeks, you can make it through these 12 weeks and what have you, and we can really see what kind of cloth that you really cut from. That's when we can really start getting to work. But as far as just everybody just coming around, like you said, we don't need to have a whole bunch of people. This is gonna start from a solid few. Just a solid few. That's really all that we need. So anybody that's with that, you know, studying and training, let's talk about that. Let's just start there. And let's actually put a program actually in motion. Let's actually get it started. Let's take it beyond just rhetoric and just commemoration and just speaking and you know, and what have you. Let's actually put the program together, how it needs to be put together. Not just put something together for the sake of putting it together, but how it needs to be put together under the guidance of our elders, you know, under our own intelligence. So let's get to work.
Right on. All power to the people. And then also vet, almost like a job. Give me 3 references. Who's your mother? Who's your father? What schools did you go to? You say you grew up here?
Vet 'em.
Where? What's the address? Vet people.
Vet them.
Vet them like a job. That's just practical. That's pragmatic.
Yep.
You get people come in, let's go kill something. I'm gonna tell you one more incident that occurred and happened to me. In 1972, I spoke at UCLA College, where I went to learn revolution under Melvin X. After the speech, this brother came up to me in a green army coat, sunglasses, and boots. And we had gotten out of that by 1972, right? The brother said, yeah, you gave a good speech, brother. You in the organization? Yeah, we in this organization, we doing this, that, and the third. Well, it's time to start killing police, right? It's people standing around. It's time to start killing police. We need to be doing police. That's what we got to do, and on and on and on. I say, well, brother, if that's what you do, then go ahead and do it. You ain't got to tell nobody. Yeah. Jonathan didn't tell nobody. You got me? He started coming around to what was called the Harriet Tubman bookstore, where we studied with the JJEC. We studied for 4 months before we went out and organized. Brother's name is Leland Atkins, he says. He started coming around to the store talking crazy. Let's kill the police. So Carl Ruffins, rest in power, he was like the bookstore manager, put him out. As sure as I'm sitting here next to Al, standing here next to our friend Bunchy Carter, I was working at the team post on Imperial and Mona near the Imperial Court Project. Sheriff car pulls up. Back then, that Special Enforcement Bureau used to carry their helmets in the back window. You could see it, so I automatically knew it was Special Enforcement. White sheriff and the black. This is on my mother. Rest in, I don't usually do this. Rest in peace. guess who gets off the passenger side? Mr. Leland Atkins. Now, that's the gospel truth. Only he didn't have on his, he used to wear the little name tags. He didn't have that on his name tags. I forgot his name. He was the police. You probably wouldn't even be seeing me right now. Conspiracy to kill the police. So when you hear somebody running around murder mouthing, as we used to say, let's go do this. We'll go out and do it. Don't include nobody else. Go out and do it if that's what you did. Like I said, Jonathan, a lot of people think somebody was supposed to be up there with Jonathan. I call that revisionism, but whatever you call it that. Jonathan did what he had to do on his own. He made that clear in Blood Mine, George Jackson. He said, the political party in these, revolutionary political party in this country, which is urban, must be separated from the political party. You dig? And George said that. So Jonathan made that clear. Remember Leland Atkins, and if I tell you this, I'm telling you, hope I don't sound like I'm being condescending, talking down to you. Telling this because I love you. I don't want to see you caught up in no, well, so-and-so went to jail for conspiracy to murder the police. You off the street, you ain't done a bit of organizing. You with me?
Appreciate that. That was important what he said, because, see, we had COINTELPRO. You guys got COINTELPRO. So remember that. Always remember that.
Yes,
and
sir.
I'm going to leave you with this, and Dane going to close us out. But this is important. George Jackson once said, I don't want to leave my bones on these hills.
That's right.
But if it's that, other than take the things away from me that make me a man,
Yeah.
make me walk this earth head unbowed,
Yes,
the
sir.
hills can have my bones.
Right. Right on.
Power to the people.
All power to the people.
Before everyone rolls out, I thought I'd let you know that I do have some DVD copies of the Southern California Black Panther Party tribute. So before folks leave, check in with me. I'll make sure I give you all a copy. And also, all y'all talking about solidarity. Made me think about something I've been thinking about for a while. I'm just gonna read this off my phone here. When we talk about revolutionary solidarity, while we are making strides to organize in our community, we strive as revolutionaries to understand we are not always going to bring everyone in our community to revolution. Revolutions often involve civil wars. So if we are to have civil wars, what do we work with that we have the common interests in? Even among Asian Pacific people, we still have to sort out amongst us as far as the trauma that the U.S. imperialists have done to our people. And with all the suffering, there have been Asian capitalists that have profited off of the misery of the working Asian community. There are people that just want to make money and find ways to go above a group of other people and make them second-class citizens and exploit and oppress them. So from there, what kind of solidarity do we want? Do we want a revolutionary solidarity, or do we want a solidarity where we just make money and be on the spotlight? All power to the people.
All power to the people. Right on. Long live the fighting spirit of all the martyrs, the political prisoners, the rank and file, not just the Black Panther Party, but all those organizations. Long live their spirit. Nola Carter, 100 years old. April 15th. Let's remember Nola Carter. Always and forever. Always and forever. One final footnote. Revolutionaries die and become political prisoners when they start understanding the importance of solidarity. Amilcar Cabral was assassinated on January 20th, 1973. He led a successful revolution, successful armed struggle to drive the Portuguese out of Guinea-Bissau. I was talking to a sister about him, and she told me, and I already knew that, where his first wife was a white woman. Well, I mean, so? No, I can't deal with this. Brother fought a successful armed struggle, a successful revolution, kicked the Portuguese out of their. Jonathan's son's mother was white. You got me? I used to, Jonathan's son used to come around, and I think he got kind of fed up with people talking about his mother's white and this, that, and I haven't seen him in about 10 years. You got it? George Jackson, if you read his Soledad letters, And I'm not out here trying to push white folks. I'm trying to push solidarity and revolution. If you read Soledad letters, man, he was talking to some white women in those letters, some of them. So what? He's dead. Why? Because he was an international proletariat revolution. Chairman Fred Hampton said, we don't fight racism with racism, we fight it with solidarity. He's no longer here. The Panthers were anti-capitalist, anti-imperialist. They had relations with the Algerians. They had an embassy in Algeria. Relationships with the Vietnamese. They met with the Vietnamese people, the North Koreans, Cuba. Where do you think Afeni Assad Shakur is right now? Where do you think Panthers went when they had cases? Where do you think they went? A lot of them went to Cuba.
Yeah, they did.
Fidel is a Peckerwood, right? Right? Right. No, you got to understand, he's this and that. Che's a Peckerwood, right? Marilyn Buck asked Assad Shakur, how does she feel about Marilyn Buck, a white woman, rest in power, who helped break her out of prison. So all that this is Peckerwood right here. I'm thinking about a comrade named George Woolfolk that I met at UCLA College. He was in the Weather Underground. I don't know where he is now. Weather Underground, bad dude. And that's all I saw in him, was a bad dude that had solidarity and revolution on his mind. You got it? So, again, you can Google if you want to. I'm gonna read. That's where I was raised. That's the way Ron Wilkins raised us up. That's the way Bunchy raised us up. That's the way a brother named Alan Ball raised us up. That's the way a lot of my elders, I don't curse, but I'll do it this last time. Get your ass a book and read, and then go out and practice, study, practice, study. Discipline, study. Revolution is not going to be waged in a haphazard, silly way. You have to understand who you fight.
It never is.
White boy, European imperialists don't care if you call them Peckerwoods and crackers and all that. They don't care. They continue running the world. They don't care. They call so-and-so a Peckerwood. Matter of fact, they want you to be a black capitalist. Fred Hampton said you fight capitalism with black capitalism with socialism. Right on?
Right on.
All power to the people. Thank you for coming out. Love you all. Again, I hope I didn't come off like I was talking condescending to the youngsters, oldsters, and middle-sters.
Never condescending.
All right.
Tell the truth.